പ്രിയപ്പെട്ടവരോടും എൻ്റെ കർത്താവ് യേശുക്രിസ്തു നാമത്തിൽ നന്ദി പറയുന്നു. വളരെ ഞാൻ 1973 കുമളിയിലായിരിക്കുമ്പോൾ ഞങ്ങൾ പരിചയപ്പെട്ടതാണ് പാസ്റ്റർ KCA ചാക്കോ. അന്ന് മുതൽ ഇന്ന് വരെയും ദീർഘകാലങ്ങൾ വി ആർ ഫ്രണ്ട്സ്. When I first came here in 1999, I had a ticket to go to Germany. But I could not go to Germany. So I canceled my ticket and rerouted to Toronto. And I came here 2000. I think in the month of February, it was snowing. That night I stayed with my cousin brother. I came to see him. Then I came the next day, I attended a meeting at Jacob George's apartment in Carava's apartment in Scarborough. And next Sunday, it was a Sunday I came here to preach. And so this history, I became the pastor. And Pastor KCA Chacko left this place. That's how I became a minister of this place. അന്ന് പരിചയപ്പെട്ടതായ ഡോക്ടർ ജോർജ് തോമസ് ഈ ചർച്ചിൻ്റെ ബിഗിനിങ് സമയത്ത് വളരെ ഹെൽപ്പ് ചെയ്ത കർത്താവിൻ്റെ ദാസൻ. നമ്മളതിന് ശേഷം കേട്ടല്ലോ 92 they decided unanimously to go bring in Pastor KCA Chacko. അതിനുശേഷം ഇവിടെ കടന്നു വന്ന ശുശ്രൂഷിച്ചതായ ജോൺ തോമസ്, KG ജോസ്, റെസ്പെക്ട് പാസ്റ്റർ TP വറീസ്, ഇപ്പോൾ ശുശ്രൂഷിക്കുന്ന കർത്താവിൻ്റെ ദാസൻ. ഇവരെല്ലാം വിവിധ സ്ഥലങ്ങളിൽ വിവിധ സമയങ്ങളിൽ കണ്ടു പരിചയപ്പെട്ട് അവരോടൊപ്പം മിനിസ്ട്രിയിൽ അവരോടൊപ്പം കർത്താവിനെ സ്തുതിപ്പാനും മഹത്വപ്പെടുത്തുവാനും ഇടിയാക്കി തീർത്തോ ഞാൻ ദൈവത്തെ സ്തുതിക്കുന്നു. പ്രൈസ് ദി ലോർഡ്. എൻ്റെ ലൈഫ് ഞാൻ പറഞ്ഞില്ല, when I came here, it was the greatest surprise. I was working full time in a company. I was a storekeeper. I was working in the evening shift for many years. I was a full-time minister for many years, but because I was in USA, I had to work. My children were complaining that, Daddy, you're always leaving home. You're never there with me, never there for us. Any of our programs, neither our schools or anything, any activities, I never went to my children's any program. So my son was so angry. And my daughter even said, Daddy, you don't even attend one of my birthday, because her birthday happened to be in December. That's the time, October, I will leave, I'll come back only in March. So I decided I'm going to stay with my children, with my family. So 3 years I did not travel, and I stayed. And I worked in full time in a company. But I had no peace. Every night during the break time, I taught the Bible to my colleagues who were free, sometimes even night supervisor. He was an American. He attended it. And Ethiopians, Kenyans, some 12, 13 people. I was regularly taking Bible study. And then I was working with it's a big warehouse. I had to operate forklift and all. I had several accidents. I will go up and hit all the light unit and break everything. And I will fall from the, that what you call a pallet. My leg will go inside through the hole, and I get the whole hurt. And I will bend all this big, line of all that, what you call, I had forgot that, where you keep the stock. I will hit on that one, and it will bend. And my goodness, I was all alone at night, nobody was. Then I was all free time, I will listen radio messages. Then I was crying in my heart, asking the Lord, why am I here? What am I doing? I given my life many years ago, and I said, Lord, I will be a disciple. I will follow you. What am I doing here? So, this was going on. No peace, nothing. So that's the time when my friend in Germany called me and said, I'm coming to, he said, I called him, I said, I am coming to Germany, I want to see you, because a long time before, many years ago, I was in Germany with him. And we started this orphanage in Bombay. And we purchased 10 acres of land in his name and my name. And I was running the orphanage. Then I just handed over all the lands and everything. I walked out. I went in the full-time ministry in Bombay, and I worked in Sakinaka. That was the first church where I pastored, ministered. Then I know, so he called me. I said, I'm coming. I said to him, I purchased a ticket. When, unfortunately, after a few months, he called me and said, James, I'm coming back to Dallas. So do not come. The same month you are planning to come, I am coming. I was very upset because I could not go. Anyway, I called the travel agent, I rerouted my ticket, and I came here. And, that's what I said. I happen to be the pastor here. I don't know why. I did not know why they selected me. I never gave a biodata. I did nothing. And they asked me, Brother Elias, and Joseph and others, they asked me, what is John, do you want to come here and be the pastor? I said, I will ask my wife. Because I know definitely my wife would never allow me to come. Because she was so upset because I was always, like a betrayer. Never been faithful in her life, to her life and the children. A person who is running away. How can you now go again to Canada, another country? I went back to Dallas and said to my wife, hey, what do you think of going up to Toronto? It's a very nice place. It's a lot of snow and cold. Do you want to go? And she said, yes, I will go. She was a full-time, she was charge of a dialysis center. I was a full-time worker, as I said. And then she resigned and I resigned. We took a Jeep, we purchased a Jeep, and we took a U-Haul truck, and we hooked up whatever we had. We gave away our house to somebody else to leave. I had 3 cars. I gave away 2 cars to some people. I drove one all the way to Atlanta, New York to Canada, 2,100 miles. And the first time I come in to Finch, they are waiting there, Merrill, Elias' brother, Raju, they all, all are there. They are giving me, we do not know where. Finch, instead of taking New Market, I took the opposite Don Valley Parkway. My goodness. My brother was there, and that way we went to Lawrence. We went around there to find back the way almost 1.5 hours. That is the first thing. I knew it is not going to be easy. And that was not easy. Because right there, from all the way without any problem from Dallas to Finch, instead of New Market, you take in Don Valley. You do not know what is Don Valley. How to get back, we do not know. 1.5 hours. I knew in my spirit it's going to be a tough time here. And there was amazing, people here. I never seen people, such a wonderful, lovely people. But no one would ever help me where to go. Man, sometimes I want to go to Mississauga, I will end up in Ajax. Because I will go all around driving, And then I said, wow, this is really fun. This is really great. And, living in 106 Chesterley Boulevard. One day we were having a prayer meeting. My son never drove. He took the truck and he went anywhere. Somewhere. He was so frustrated in Canada because it's like from living in America all his life and coming here, he thought he's living in India. Because all the Punjabis and the Tamilians there in Chesterley Boulevard. And he said, what is going on here? Sorry, I thought that's my son standing there. You just look like my son. Just like. And he took the truck. And he drove all the way to, downtown of Toronto. My goodness, I called New York, I called everywhere. I do not know. No phone. He didn't have phone. I didn't have how to contact him. It was really fun, nice. Then finally, Dr. Robin Burgess was here. He somehow contacted somebody there, and he took me to the downtown. When I reached there, I saw him standing there, laughing. He had no money. So he gave his watch. He had a very expensive watch. He gave it to somebody, and he got a bottle of Coke. And all day he was standing there with his truck parked on side, and, it was really nice. I really enjoyed. Then it all happened, this beautiful building. They said, okay, we have to buy a building. Going around, buying, looking, and everywhere. Finally, God had really brought some wonderful, amazing people. They raised this church. I was here sitting there when I heard the worship and the words that came under Manslek, one of the Adivadana Srayam. നെഹമ്യാവും കൂടെ ദേവാലയം അത് ഡെഡിക്കേറ്റ് ചെയ്തപ്പോൾ ഒരു കൂട്ടർ കരഞ്ഞു, ഒരു കൂട്ടർ ചിരിച്ചു. Those days, I tell you, we can never forget. This fellowship was an amazing fellowship. And the love of the people and the worship. Those days, the worship team, my goodness. If those older, those who are here, I know, when we see what is happening now and we compare that those days, we want to do that, just to cry. It was amazing. That's the only thing that kept me going in the midst of all those afflictions, sorrows. That's an amazing board members. Without an election, they continued for 2 years so that we can build, we can finish this. Elias Joseph, Brother Varghese John, Sam Jurian, Tom Varghese, Dr. Robin Varghese, Merrill, Sabu, Will Johnson, Ebenezer, Sam Abraham, Martin. I can just name all these amazing people. We never ever had even a single argument. Not even ever one word we spoke against or anything. Don't dispute, nothing, everything. So nice. It was such a loving, wonderful. And God helped me. God helped to bring. It's not me, it's God. And then I as I said, I used to sleep here in this building many times downstairs. Once in the Sunday, there was no bulb. The bulb was fused. One of the bulb was not working. And I was thinking how to climb there and change that one. And I went to the Walmart and I brought in a ladder, big ladder. And I came here, I tried to put it there and climb and change the bulb, but I could not do it. It didn't reach. So I put a table on the chair, on the top of the bench. And I put the ladder on the top of the table and I climbed. I tell you, it just slipped. And I fell down. I jumped and I fell down. And I just jumped. And I thought, my goodness, next day I'm not going to tell this to the board or the church because they will fire me. Because they say people will sue, because there's something happened to you. I had wonderful experiences here living. May goodness, when I came back from one day all the way from Dallas, driving, when I came to Indiana, I lost the key of my car. And I took a rental car and I came here. That was in the first year of the Sunday school anniversary. I am the pastor. I wanted to be here for the Sunday school anniversary, but I could not make it. And I was crying because there's no key. Lost it. I took a rental car and I drove like 90 miles speed that day because I was late to get here before the time for the anniversary, and I made it. And the next day we went. Merrill helped me to go there. And we found the key, and we brought the truck back. So many stories. I have printed my own life story in a book, and I sold it, part of it. But now I am writing. I wanted to complete the story. Hope one day I will get time and do it. It's such a great joy to come here, live here, be a part of this church. And I was like Pastor, when they invited me, I was also praying to the Lord and said, Lord, celebration, anniversary, what are you going to share here? Because the New Testament church never celebrated. They celebrate every Sunday the Lord Jesus Christ, the communion. That's a celebration. So I said, what to share? I don't know. So last night I was sleeping and I could not sleep. I said, Lord, give me a pastor. What is going to share? I can preach, okay? I can preach a lot of things. But I don't want, Pastor Jaco is going to preach. We had a wonderful, wonderful message. We don't want to hear more because that was the message of the Lord. That is, the Lord was speaking to me. Spirit of the Lord was speaking. So he gave me the chapter 2 of Philippians. That is what he said. Just to, I just want to read that and I'm going to sit down here. Chapter 2 of Philippians. And, so many things. What says, therefore, there is any encouragement in Christ, if there is any consolation of love, if there is any fellowship of the Spirit, if any affection and compassion, make me joy complete by being of the same mind, maintaining the same love, united in spirit, intent on one purpose. Do nothing from selfishness, empty conceit, but with humility of mind, regard one another as more important than yourselves. Do not merely look at for your own personal interest, also for the interest of others, have this attitude in yourself, which was also in Christ Jesus. Then all chapter, going back, one more thing, especially verse 15. So that you will prove yourself, it says, do all things without grumbling and disputing, so that you will prove yourselves to be blameless, innocent children of God, above reproach, in the midst of a crooked and perverse generation, among whom you appear as light in the world, holding fast the word of life, so that in the day of Christ I will have reason to glory, because of I did not run vain, nor in toil in vain. അവിടെ പറഞ്ഞിരിക്കുന്നത് അവരുടെ ഇടയിൽ നിങ്ങൾ ജീവന്റെ വചനം പ്രമാണിച്ചുകൊണ്ട് ലോകത്തിൻ്റെ ജ്യോതിസുകളെ പോലെ പ്രകാശിക്കുന്നു. അവരുടെ ഇടയിൽ നിങ്ങൾ ജീവന്റെ വചനം പ്രമാണിച്ചുകൊണ്ട്. I want to ask one thing, and I want to close. Last night I said I could not sleep. I was thinking of when this church has started with the 16 families, only 16 families. There was a time there was more than 100 families here. Think about it. 100 families here, you have a combined wealth more than $50 million. Don't you have? What a blessed church now. What? Let me ask this question. Are we impacting, influencing this society, this community, this KCA? One man, his name is Nelson Mandela. 27 years he was in the jail. 27 വർഷം ജയിലിൽ കിടന്നു. You know why? 4 points Dr. Miles Monroe said. Integration, invasion, influence, and impact. He had a conviction that his people was ill-treated. So he had a vision to deliver and set free his people. For that conviction, he was willing to go to jail for 27 years. And then what happened? After 27, in that 27 years, when British people, others came to the jail and said, we will give you a home, we will give you a car, we will give you security, come out and leave. The only thing is, nothing else. You cannot do anything. He said, I don't want anything. I am free in jail. If my people are suffering, I don't want any of your offers. And what happened? After 27 years, he came out. He became the president of the South Africa. And the South Africans were set free. You know why? One man and his conviction. Just one man. All of you are multimillionaires. You can make millions because that's what Canada is all about. Wealthiest place. Do you want it to, like Dr. Miles Monroe says, the wealthiest place in the world today is cemetery. Because the dead people are sleeping there. They died prematurely with all the brain and ideas, inventions, discoveries, writing novels, writing books, acting the movies, and all those things. In 10 square feet of cemetery I watched, when I go to visit my son's tomb site, there are 5 young people's dead body was buried, 5 within 10 square feet area, under the age of 30 years old. You know how many dreams they had? My son wanted to act in movie. That was his first interest. Second, he wanted to make his music. That was his second dream. But none of them came into reality. There are so many young people sitting here. Hundreds of them came here and left. KCA has so much wealth. But are we impacting this community? What influence are you making to this community here? I will challenge and will stop with my words. Maybe when I get another opportunity, I will continue. God bless you. Thank you.